Hey everybody, welcome back to Lyrical Resonance, where we believe that where words fail, music speaks. I am getting back into the band Aseity. I'm super pumped. They released a song called Insanity about a month ago, back on November 12th. It's featuring Orion Stevens of In Dying Arms. Don't know who that is, but I'm pumped to check this out because they keep releasing good music and they keep getting better with each release that I've heard. Of the three, I mean, they have 3 songs that's included. I've reacted to both their other songs, Silent Whispers featuring Taylor Barber and Losing Myself. So I'm excited to get into this. Don't know what to expect. I almost never know what to expect with them. So I'm excited. Rob and Monica have just been crushing it, and so I'm excited to see what they have. If this is your first time checking out one of my videos, thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate you taking the time. If you like what you see by the end of this, I'd ask you simply to like the video, maybe leave a couple comments even if you're just saying hi, and if you really enjoyed it, subscribe and turn on the notification bell to stay up with the videos we're doing, because where words fail, music does speak, and we're going to continue listening to what it has to say here at Lyrical Resonance. So let's do that now through the band Aseity and their track Insanity. Ooh, I love that piano. Ooh. Wow, this is so different from the other 2 tracks they've released, and I like it. It sounds more melodic in a way, and I'm sure I'm gonna have my face ripped off by some screams. I mean, it's just what they do. But I really enjoy this. I feel like Monica's voice is. I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound bad, and I don't mean it bad, but as high as her voice gets, she still carries like this weight with it that kind of like keeps you engaged, right? Like she has this ability to, even when she's singing these really like beautiful, soft notes, it comes across as like, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, like dynamic in a way where it's like, it holds your focus. You're like, man, I want to hear what are you trying to tell me? I want to hear this. That's just, that was really, really good. Man. Okay. I backed it up a little, and we're going to keep going because so far I really like this. I love the atmosphere of it. I like how melodic it is, and I'm looking forward to you guys absolutely smashing me in the face with some guitar work and screaming, I'm assuming from Orion Stevens. Anyway, let's do this. There it is. Good grief, that guitar was crazy. Oh. Hold up, wait a minute. Was that Orion too? I don't know. I'm not familiar with him to know what his voice sounds like. Was that Orion doing that vocal there with Monica, or was that Rob, or a combination of all of you? That was really cool. I like that. I'm gonna back up because I want to hear that again. Wow. That was good. I really enjoyed that. I'll be perfectly honest. I have no idea what was happening in that music video. But I was more interested in the music and the words than I was really what was going on in the video. So I have no idea what I'm learning from the video at all. Whatever, decently done. I mean, it was a very nicely done music video. I don't know what I was supposed to learn from it, or what kind of story it was telling necessarily. But maybe examining the lyrics a little more will kind of give some idea to it. Anyway, I enjoyed this a lot. I thought it was very good. Honestly, it's probably my favorite of their 3 currently available tracks. As melodic as it was. I mean, I feel it was very well done. It was a really nicely structured song. The pacing of it was good. And I feel like it's, as much as I really enjoyed Monica's performance in Silent Whispers, because I feel like, personally, I feel like when she's in like that lower register as she is with a lot of that song, I feel like that is where she's, in my mind, her strongest is in that lower register. I really thought this was beautifully done. Really, really good. It complemented the music very well, the way she sang in this track, and so I really enjoyed that. Now I want to look at the lyrics a little bit, so give me a moment as I do some reading. I'm gonna check these out, and then I'm gonna kind of analyze and try and piece some things together. So hang tight.
1 hour later.
All right, so I have read the lyrics, and I'm picking up a couple of various things here. One of the things I'm picking up is like the whole idea of gaslighting, right? Where basically a person will, through lies and deceit, make another person feel like they're crazy, like they're losing their grip on reality, like they're going insane, right? And I kind of pick up on some of this here in this song, where I wonder if that's kind of a little bit about what's going on here. Like, I'm fighting insanity. I keep waiting for them to admit me. They got me feeling psychotic. I question myself. Am I awake? Am I breathing? I can't ask for help. This isn't. Is this the world? Is this world the way we want it? Like, is this how it's meant to be? I kind of pick some maybe gaslighting in some of this, where maybe it's like they're trying to make me think I'm crazy because they don't like what they see when they look at me, right? They look at me, they're judging what they don't understand. Anxiety creeps deep into my soul. There's these bitter words that get thrown in my face, but I'm the bad guy somehow because I'm not what they understand, right? And so it makes me think of gaslighting a little bit, but it also makes me think of a few stories from the Bible that are very interesting. So the first is from Mark chapter 12, and it's a story that it maybe is familiar, maybe not, but it's the story of this woman, this widow, who goes into the temple to give of an offering, and when she does, it's so heartbreaking, and the story is just a fascinating thing. So I'm going to read this to you here. It says this. It says, sitting across from the temple treasury, he watched the crowd. He watched how the crowd dropped money into the treasury. Many rich people were putting in large sums. Then a poor widow came and dropped in 2 tiny coins worth very little. Summoning his disciples, he said to them, "Truly I tell you, this poor widow has put more into the treasury than all the others, for they all gave out of their surplus, but she gave out of her but she out of her poverty has put in everything she had, all she had to live on." Now, I think about this in terms of like the hypocritical attitude some people have towards how impactful what they do seems. Like there are some people who they think, and I've seen it, where I work in a church, I'm great, I'm a good person, right? And they hold that over people like it means something, completely missing the fact that is not at all the case. Like I'm a pastor, right? But I don't think that because I'm a pastor, I suddenly am having more of an impact than, say, a plumber, right? Like that's stupid kind of thinking, and it's arrogant kind of thinking. But this is, these. She says there's, sour looks with a passing glance. They're judging what they don't understand, and it would have been really easy to look at that widow and see her just put in 2 coins while all these other people are putting in big amounts of money, and she'd be like, "Man, that's all you could give," but not even realizing that she gave everything. Those people gave out of their surplus. They could have given more, to the point where it was actually impacting their lives, but they gave change, basically, right? This woman came, and that's all she had. She didn't give 10%, she didn't give 20%, she gave 100% of all she had. That is super important. Now, that I kind of wonder if that's kind of like what's going on. Like, these people are judging me. They don't even know who I am or what I'm doing, but they're judging me, and maybe they're thinking of themselves as better, trying to make me think I'm somehow doing something wrong simply because I look different or I'm doing things different. But then there's another story that is just fascinating, and that is the story of this sinner who goes to pray in the temple. And it's fascinating. He's actually a tax collector. Now, if you know anything about Bible history, tax collectors in the time of Jesus' life were hated, despised. Nobody liked them, because oftentimes tax collectors were Jewish people who basically doing that was an act of like treason, right? Where you were basically telling all the people, you suck, I'm going to start stealing from you. I'm going to be basically not quite as good as a Roman citizen, because I'm still a Jew, but I am also going to betray being a Jew and go work for the Romans. So they were very much disliked. And so in Luke chapter 18, verses 9 through 14, there is such an interesting exchange where it's called the parable of the Pharisee and the tax collector. So this is Jesus speaking. He also told this parable to some who trusted in themselves that they were righteous and looked down on everyone else. 2 men went up to the temple to pray, one a Pharisee and the other a tax collector. The Pharisee was standing and praying like this about himself: God, I thank you that I'm not like other people, greedy, unrighteous, adulterers, or even like this tax collector. I fast twice a week. I give 1/10 of everything I get. But the tax collector, standing far off, would not even raise his eyes to heaven, but kept striking his chest and saying, God, have mercy on me, a sinner. I tell you, this one went down to his house justified rather than the other, because everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, but the one who humbles himself will be exalted. So in this, I see this idea in this song where talking about how these people are just looking at me and judging me without actually getting to know me. I'm fighting this insanity. There's this anxiety that creeps into me because of I can feel the weight of what they're saying. I can feel the weight of the looks they're giving me, and I'm trying to evaluate what they're saying based on what I thought to be true about myself. And so, what is going? I'm fighting. I feel insane, right? And then, but I love what they say. If you need to look twice, then you better get a closer look. Like if you're doing double takes, questioning what is that, then you might want to take a closer look and evaluate what's actually happening. And then you had Orion's part, which I thought was interesting because there was this, the lyrics were taking the senseless off of this earth, burying the privileged deep in the dirt, eating your words, just know that it hurts, ending the cancer, watching it burn. And so you have this idea of basically shutting that down, right? Like I'm going to bury that in the dirt. I'm going to make you eat your words. I want you to know it hurts, right? It doesn't help. And I almost kind of picture like the story of Jesus driving out the money changers in the temple, right? Like telling them, get out of here. Like you people are the worst. Leave. You're doing so much wrong. Jesus even called the Pharisees a brood of vipers, right? And so I look at this song and I'm kind of trying to figure out the video. And I think I might have a beat on it. But I look at these lyrics, and these are the stories from the Bible I'm reminded of. And I just find it fascinating how they do this. And so when you pair that with the music video, you see Monica at the beginning. She's blindfolded, and she's being tied up by these people in these robes. Supposedly, I guess, kind of trying to be like pious looking, but they also have these devil masks, right? And so they're supposed to be pious looking on the outside, but their intent is really evil. And they're binding her up. And you can almost imagine, like metaphorically, like the binding that they're doing is the words they're speaking, the judgment they're casting without actually getting to know her. And then you see at this moment where she ends up being stripped of everything because these people have just laid her low. And then ultimately she gets clothed in this wonderful dress. And that's the truth of what God says, right? And in my mind, that's how I'm interpreting this anyway. But it's amazing when you trust in what God says and you follow him, how, yes, it can be burdensome to carry the weight of what other people say, but at the same time, when you know what God says about you, ultimately what other people say doesn't matter that much. And what he has said about us far outweighs what anybody else could say about us. And we know when we're living for him, man, I found that really fascinating. So I could see that being the case, and maybe I'm way off base here. I don't know, but that's kind of what I read from this, and I really enjoyed it. I thought the music was fantastic. Rob, dude, your guitar work is impeccable, especially in that point when Orion was screaming, because it felt so like unnerving, right, and almost dissonant, and I really enjoyed it. But anyway, if I were to rank this song on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being terrible, 10 being amazing, I would give this song a solid like 9.5, maybe even a 10. Like, it's just really good. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I'm really looking forward to hearing more from you guys. Monica, keep belting it out, man. Whatever. It sounded really good. I know I said I personally think your lower register is where you're strongest, but this also was really good because it complemented the atmosphere and the overall feel of the song very well. So very well done. Really enjoyed this. Now let me know what you thought about the song on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being terrible and 10 being amazing, because I want to hear from you and I want to know what your thoughts were. And if there are any songs you think I should be getting into, leave those in the comments as well, or you can email me at lyrical.resonance.ia@gmail.com. Or you can find me on Facebook through the link in the description. Either way, let me know. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate you taking the time. It means the world to me. If you liked what you saw, I'd ask you obviously like the video, but even leave some comments, even if it's just to say hi or suggest a song for me to get into or to leave your rating. Either way, leave some comments. And if you really enjoyed it, hit subscribe to stay up to date with all the videos. Because where words fail, music does speak, and we're going to continue listening to what it has to say here at the channel. But until the next song we get into, as always, stay safe and be blessed. We'll see you soon.